श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् महागणपतये नमः। प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतु आनो दिवो बृहतः पर्वतादा सरस्वती यजता गन्तु यज्ञम् हवन् देवी जुजुषाणा घृताचीषग्मान्नो वाचमुशती शृणोतु वाग्देव्यै नमः। ॐ भूर्भुवः सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
सभी को जय मां सरस्वती. So this stream is mainly for my reply to Hatun, Tash, Praveen and Narendra Sahu at DCCI Ministries. About 11 months ago, there was a person called Dilip who was invited to DCCI Ministries to defend Hinduism. So I contacted Dilip and I said I would remain in the background trying to assist him. He did not disclose to me, unfortunately, that he had been given all the questions or queries on Hinduism. So I had no idea, nor did I know about DCCI channel. So when I went there, Dilip never showed up and I was taken by surprise. And all these 4 or 5 people, they spoke 2 minutes and like 8 minutes. And I spoke for 2 minutes and they would mute me and they would not... all my references were in Sanskrit, Hindi, and the audience there was only English speaking. Had I known that before, I would have prepared myself accordingly, but it is not their mistake also because they had given the material to Dilip and it is Dilip's lack of, he was not careful and he never passed on the relevant information to me. So due to miscommunication or whatever, it was something, a surprise. And so they were not accepting any of my Sanskrit Hindi translation and they had Googled stuff and brought out things on Hinduism, which were, many of them were false. Some were partially taken from by deceptive means, either unintentionally or intentionally, and cherry-picked from places without context. So yesterday I did the part 1 because they had put too many references on one slide, like Rig Veda. One was from 19 verses in just one line. They had written so many verses, this to this. So it was too much information. So I felt that 2.5 hours had already passed. So I thought I would divide this stream in 2 parts. So I did the part 1 yesterday. For those who have missed it, please go back and listen to the part 1, and it's quite interesting. And I have covered so many of my um, points over there and shown them with the authentic references and answered each one of them. And if you still have questions, you can always contact me on my email and I can answer you one by one. If you send me a long list, then I wouldn't be able to answer you on email, but definitely I can set up a stream and we can talk live. Anyways, I will start from the point where we left yesterday. So let me share with you the slides. So I think we had done until here. And we had talked about Bible and hell, what the Bible says, what the Bible says about hell. That was the last thing that we covered, and then we were on slide number 13. So let us proceed from here onwards. So now the 13th slide is about Dayanand. It says Dayanand professes that if someone, it's just I can't read the word, someone is quarrelsome, then the husband should immediately stop contact. Okay, Dayanand professes that if someone uh, is quarrelsome, then the husband should immediately stop contact with his wife and contract niyoga, illicit sex with another woman and have children. Likewise, if the husband is oppressive, then the wife should contract niyoga with another man and bear children. Likewise, Dayanand says that if someone's husband has gone abroad for a set number of years and hasn't returned, then the wife should have sex with some other man and raise children. And this is entirely false. And Hatun, Tash, shame on you for taking this from Google somewhere. And the person who has written this should be punished severely. He should be jailed, because Dayanand was a great saint and he has written mostly things from Manusmriti and the Vedas combined together. And his 60 works that you can find on Wikipedia, there's a list. And also, like the Manusmriti is our ancient law book, and we can open Manusmriti and see. And we have Vedas to verify. Dayanand has never professed this false thing. Over here it is written that Dayanand is saying that if a husband is bad, he's quarrelsome, or if he's oppressive, then the woman can go and have sex with another a man, or similarly, if the woman is quarrelsome, the husband can do that, and which is false. And also it says in the later part of the slide, it says that if someone's husband is like gone abroad for many years, then the wife behind his back can have sex with other people. This is entirely false, and these people who have put this fake document on Google should be punished severely. They should be jailed. They should be penalized heavily. And those people who are quoting things from Google without even opening the scriptures should also be punished in some ways, because this should stop. This is unethical practice of just taking some article and then just producing it without even verifying it, without even actually opening the books, and defaming Dayanandji. This is extremely malicious. Dayanandji has never said this. Shame on you for speaking lies about him. Shame on you for speaking lies about such a great person. Niyoga only happens in families, royal families, where heir is important, and only in the case when the queen is a widow and there is no other child, she doesn't have any other child, and they need to have an heir. At the all the family members sit down, and then with their consent, it is done under special conditions. You don't know anything about niyoga. It is only upon done for a royal widow. That's it. The clauses of Niyoga, which I found on Wikipedia, it's a good list, so I have extracted that because now they have changed the Wikipedia, so it's no longer there. They have removed everything. There are various clauses associated with this process. The woman would agree to this only for the sake of rightfully having a child, but not for sexual pleasure. It is not sex done for sexual pleasure. Secondly, the child thus born would be considered the child of the husband, wife, and not that of the appointed man. So, the man who has been appointed to do niyoga, the child will not belong to him. If niyoga has been demanded from the wife's side, it will be the wife and the dead husband's name it will carry. The appointed man would not seek any paternal relationship or attachment to the child in the future. So, this man who has come to do yoga, he will never have any further relationship or he will never meet the woman again. To avoid misuse, a man can be allowed a maximum of 3 times in his lifetime to be appointed in such a way. So, it's just like you go for jury duty. So, I don't know if there are number of times, but here, so that somebody does not abuse this, only 3 times this person can help royal widows, and that probability is zero absolutely. Because in history you will find only 2 cases of niyoga, only 2 cases. The act will be if I have made a stream on halala versus niyoga, and in that it is much clearer because I've taken screenshot and enlarged it. That is why it has become blurred, but if you don't enlarge it and if you read it, it is very clear from there. So the act also says that of dharma, and while the man will have only dharma in their mind and not passion or lust. So, in the name of God, so I'll just tell you, the man covers himself with and the woman cover themselves with ghee, which is clarified butter, so that their skin becomes the skin does not come in contact with another skin. And secondly, there is a curtain, and the woman is separated from the man, and only that private part, for that part is only where you can do it. Rest of the woman is not visible to do any kind of oral sex or anything else. It is just done for that purpose and without any lust feeling. And there will be no contact of any kind on the upper body. And yeah, it's smeared with the ghee means clarified butter, and there's a curtain and no one can see each other and they cannot speak their minds. Only the legs of the female are kept uncovered. The male penetrates and ejaculates, and then that is all. The process is completed, and this has happened only once. In if you go into Mahabharat, I'll just tell you that if you see Mahabharat, the queen of Hastinapur, Satyavati, she did not, she had an older son called Vyasa who had become a sadhu and who had left the kingdom, and her younger son Vichitravirya had 3 wives. So the wives, the younger son died. The younger son died, so these girls were newly married. So what, they did not have any heir for the kingdom. So she asked her older son to do niyoga with this newly married sons of her younger son, wives of her younger son. That's all. There is only one case, and since they put cow butter or ghee on their body, the body smells bad. So the body smells bad. So one of the daughter-in-laws, she found it so smelly and bad that she closed her eyes. So a blind child was born. because the niyoga was done with the older brother, older son of Satyavati, who had gone to become a rishi. He had too much powers, and when he went to the first daughter-in-law, she closed her eyes, and it was very smelling bad, because the ghee doesn't smell very good, because the skin should not touch. There are many conditions for niyoga. So she closed her eyes, so a blind child was born. The other one was afraid. Her eyes were open, but she was afraid to see a rishi with long hair and all that, and she was afraid. So the weaker child was born, which was the other son, Pandu. So this is how Dhritarashtra and Pandu were born, and it was only done for in royal families. There are only two instances in history of niyoga. You will never find niyoga anywhere else. It has never been done ever, nor do you see anybody practicing niyog. So this is the fact about niyog, and Swami Dayanand has never said anything about niyog which is false. Okay, so now we will verify this from Satyarth Prakash, which is written solely by Dayanand Saraswati ji, and you are accusing Dayanand Saraswati ji for saying that a man, while he's alive, his wife can go and do niyog if he's quarrelsome, or the wife can go and do niyog if the husband is oppressive, and which is false. Or a husband has gone abroad, and the wife behind his back can do. That is all bullshit. And excuse my language, but one should be penalized for maligning famous saints, and speaking lies. Satyat Prakash is written by Dayanand Saraswati ji, and we'll see in page 141. So here it is. I hope I'm sharing it and it is seen. Let me check. Okay. So what are the differences between remarriage and niyog? There is a question asked, because most of our scriptures are in the form of question and answer. That's because we always encourage asking questions. It is a mark of intellect. So he says, after marriage, the bride leaves the paternal roof, lives with her husband, and her relations with her family. Father's family ceases to be very close. On the contrary, the widow, because only widows can do niyog, and that too royal widows. It has never happened in ordinary people. The widow, in case she contracts niyoga, continues to live in her deceased husband's house, because the child belongs to the dead husband. The children begotten of marriage inherit the property of their mother's husband. So this woman who's a widow, she has done niyoga with a man with her family's consent. Now the child who is born, he will only inherit the property of the dead husband, not of that man who has done niyoga. There is no relationship with that man whatsoever, or any contact once the niyoga is over. Whereas offspring begotten of niyoga on a widow are not regarded as children of the begetter, and consequently they don't take his surname, nor they can be claimed by him. They are spoken of as the children of their mother's deceased husband, take his surname, inherit his property, and live in their house. So this is all. And all contact of niyoga ceases. Once you have made a woman pregnant, that's it. You have no more contact. The contract is over. You don't see the child or the woman or anybody. So this much showing you is enough to prove my point. And then wisdom of the rishis, 438. So I will show you another thing. Let's see this. Now this is a thing where this is already covered. In this chapter, we shall make no distinction between Lord as occurring in the Old Testament and Christ. For the Lord of the Old Testament is Jehovah or God, whereas the world, renowned because of its preeminent intelligibility, doctrine of Trinity, will have that God the Father, Jehovah, God the Son, Christ, and Holy Ghost, the Lord, are one and the same. We will therefore substitute for the word Lord in the Old Testament the word Christ, to give it a pleasant modern Christian garb. Anyways, see, T. Williams has also accused Dayanand of, if the Bible be true, is what Christ, Jehovah, or Lord stands accused of. So this is a book called Wisdom of the Rishis, in which they are saying that this person T. Williams, he has accused Dayanand of the same thing. I've taken the same point that you told me about Dayanand, about talking about Niyoga. So now let me answer this from this Wisdom of the Rishis. Here, T. William accuses Swami Dayanand firstly of having scant respect for the Vedas. Okay, so this is my slide, the next slide that I'm going to show on Swami Dayanand, which is this slide. Let me show you this one first so that we'll read that after, because I have taken that all in one go only, two slides. So in the next slide also you have accused a good saint, a great saint, Dayanand Saraswati ji, of, would you believe it? Dayanand has given references from Vedas in support of his statements. The truth is that he could not understand the meaning of a single Veda mantra, and hence has written whatever wild dreams he had in his book, Satyat Prakash, under the cover of Vedas. And then here they have given Rig Veda mantra 1085-45, which I will deal with later. First, let me read this. So here T. William accuses Swami Dayanand firstly of having scant respect for the Vedas. Now to quote Paul, 1 Corinthians 7:12, but to the rest speak I not the Lord. Again, 2 Corinthians 11:17, that which I speak it not after the Lord, but as it were foolishly, in this confidence of boasting. But be it remembered that Paul is an inspired personage, and Paul's inspiration, which means Christ's thoughts, led him to say that what he is inspired of, a portion of the Bible, is not after the Lord but foolish and uninspired. Therefore, God or Christ stands accused of having scant respect for the Bible, for he declares that the Bible is not inspired. So, this is what the statement Paul has made. Secondly, T. Williams accuses Swami Dayanand of preaching the astounding, grossly immoral, and monstrous doctrine of Niyoga. We quote from Deuteronomy 25, verses 5 to 10. If brethren dwell together and one of them dies and has no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her and take her to wife and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. And if the man like not to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate unto the elders and say, my husband's brother refuseth to raise up unto his brother a name in Israel. He will not perform the duty of my husband's brother. Then the elders of the city shall call him and speak unto him, and if he stand to it and say, I like not to take her, then shall his brother's wife come unto him in the presence of the elders, and loose his shoe from off his foot, and spit in the face, and shall answer and say, so shall it be done unto that man that will not build up his brother's house, and his house shall be called in Israel the house of him that has his shoe loosed. This is clearly Niyoga, and so Christ stands accused of preaching the astounding, grossly immoral, and monstrous doctrine of Niyoga. I will not go any further because those are other accusations which we are not dealing with right now. So we will stick to what DCCI ministries have accused Dayanand of. So again, going into this, next slide was that Dayanand doesn't know anything about Vedas, and that he has put in whatever wild dreams he had in the book under the cover of Vedas. Let us see that. Rig Veda 10:85-45. So, O majestic man capable of nurturing semen, give a married woman or widow the best son and grant her good fortune, produce 10 sons for a married woman, and consider the 11th to be a woman. So I don't know if Dayanand Saraswati has really said a woman, because the verse is slightly different. Like it is very close to the meaning, but I'll just show you what the actual verse is. So let's see Rigved 10:85-45. So I have already opened this 10:85-45. And let's see, it is hymn number 85, 45 of the 85th one, Surya's bridal. Surya means the sun, the wife of the sun which rises in the east. So you have to know the context. Another thing, DCCI ministries, they just pick something from somewhere and just dab it on without giving any context. And that's why, and usually the English versions never tell who the Devata and what about it is. Here they have written Surya's bridal, but it is more clear when you read Hindi. Sanskrit Hindi translation is the best translation because they give the meaning of every word. So here it says, O bounteous Indra, make this bride blessed in her sons and fortunate, vouchsafe to her 10 sons and make her husband the 11th man, not woman. So here, I don't know if this is a mistake by DCCI ministries that they have Googled and copied this wrong. 11th to be a woman, they have said 11th to be a man, not woman. So it is a mistake done by, I think it's most likely a mistake done by DCCI ministries, because the actual Veda says the 11th to be a man. So it just means that, let's go further. So that I've read you. Then now, this is the actual verse in Hindi, Sanskrit Hindi. And here they will say the Rishi Surya Savitri. Here, and Surya Savitri explanation is given just before this mantra starts, where he says that this Surya wants a wife. The Surya or the sun wants a wife who is also very has a lot of light in her, and she is the daughter of Savita. Savita is the goddess of constructive work. So so here the sun desires. So the explanation is given, and here this mantra talks about the bridegroom, what the parents of the daughter, the parents of the bride say to the bridegroom. So in this mantra, the parents of the bride tell the bridegroom that the husband should be Indra or Jitendriya. Indra, I explained you yesterday that who is Indra? Indra, our sense organs are called Indriya. So the lord of those sense organs is called Indra. So the sense organs are your two eyes, your two nostrils, your two ears, and your mouth. So these are your sense organs. So the lord of these sense organs is called Indra because when you take control of your eyesight, like you don't watch porn, you don't listen to foul music, or you don't smell bad smells, and these are all the things. So you have total control, and you go to the maximum total control, you become Indra. So she's saying that the husband should be like Indra. वह पत्नी पर सुखों का वर्षण करता हुआ उसे सुपुत्रा सुभगा बनाए. So she says his wife, that means their own daughter, the wife to this bridegroom should be one who they are talking to the bridegroom, saying that the bridegroom should be like Indra, and he should give happiness, a shower of happiness to his wife and make her a mother. So this is the prayer what the bride's parents are doing to the bridegroom. So you have to know the context of everything before just jotting down, writing down things extracted from Google, because that would be false. So in this mantra, in this one, Rig Veda 1085:45 is about that. Now, and she says, okay, I didn't explain this part. I just explained the bottom part. So he says that 10th and 11th, that's what you want to know. So here he says that is patni mein tu dash means 10, putran means sons, adehi stapit kar means you give her 10 sons, and pati ko arthat apne ko ekadasham krathi means the wife is called Ardhangini. In Hinduism, the wife is called Ardhangini, means she bears the half body of the husband. So the 11th will be the husband, and the Vedic Maryada means under the what you say, Maryada means under the rules of Vedas. You will have 10 sons, the 11th man will be the husband, and they will all be controlled under the Vedic rules. And this is kind of a blessing, like 10 sons is a blessing, like when you say, oh, because sons are taken as heir. So when you bless somebody, you say, oh, you should have like 10 sons, you give a blessing like that. So it's kind of a blessing. And in Hinduism, there is no more than 10. Like 10 is the maximum children one can have. So the blessing means to the maximum, like you have maximum heirs, something like that. And the 11th man is the husband in the house. Next, we go to the 15th slide, which says this accusation is again on Dayanand saint, and this is punishable. This is punishable because it is foul play on behalf of DCCI Ministries, because I don't even have to search for what Dayanand said or not. Even if I go by this false text, it is such a deception. If you read carefully, you can read in this article, the fake article extracted from Google. Here also they have done foul play. Here it is written, the best time for a girl's marriage is when she is from 16 to 24 years of age, and for a youth when he is 25 to 48 years of age. But here when they have quoted, they have left out the range. It is saying from 25 to 48, but they have taken the upper range and written it maliciously. This is deliberate malicious attempt, because from here only you can read that from the reference here that they have shown. I don't even have to go and check this. From here to here, copying also you have done it wrong, because you can, if you expand this and read this, over here there is a range given. So these people have very cunningly taken the upper part of the range and just said that they form the best pair. That is not written there. They have just written that this range is for them is 25 to 48 years of age. So a man's though he can produce children till old age, but they just want to say that 25 to 48 years is the time when the semen is of high quality. So if you have tried to have children with a 60-year-old man, or that won't have that much effect. So this is the prime quality. This is the time when you can have prime quality semen. So 25 to 48 years, a man should be when they have children, and a woman can only be pregnant after 16 years of age. That is the lowest. and the highest be like a 24-year-old girl. After that, her semen becomes sorry, her there are chances of genetic problems, defects. So that is the best period for a woman to get pregnant or for a man to get pregnant. That's all is written. And here also they have left out the range and tried to make it look like this. And nobody follows this. Moreover, these are all like whatever they are saying, Satyarth Prakash is all already Manusmriti and all that. Nobody follows Manusmriti laws. People are marrying, doing these narpishachis are doing love jihad and taking away very young girls of Hindu girls and all that. If we were following Manu and doing even this, nobody is following anything. Anyway, I didn't find it in the original document. That's what I want to say. So 16th slide is about this. They have said this slide that in this connection there is another old history that I will recite to you. There was in olden days a wise rishi of the name of Utatya. He had a wife of the name Mamata, whom he dearly loved. One day Utatya, younger brother of Vrihaspati, the priest of the celestials, endued with great energy, approached Mamata. The latter, however, told her husband's younger brother that foremost of eloquent men, that she had conceived from her connection with his elder brother, and that therefore he should not then seek for the consummation of the wishes. She continued, O illustrious Vrihaspati, the child that I have conceived hath studied in his mother's womb the Vedas and the six Angas, semen tutum frustra perdi non protest. How can this womb of mine afford room for two children? So what they are trying to say that uh, there was a very wise rishi, and his wife was approached by the rishi's younger brother and who wanted to have sex with her, but she was pregnant, and she said that there is no space for two children. I'll take the 17th one with this simultaneously because they have produced that in sequence. Therefore, it behoveth thee not to seek for the consummation of thy desire at such a time. Thus addressed by her, Brihaspati, though possessed of great wisdom, succeeded not in suppressing his desire. Cum ote jam cum illa coestris asset. The child in the womb then addressed to him and said, O father, cease from thy attempt. There is no space here for two. O illustrious one, the room is small. I have occupied it first. Semen, but Brihaspati, without listening to what the child in the womb said, sought the embraces of Mamta, possessing the most beautiful pair of eyes. So it says that Brihaspati, like he was the younger brother-in-law of this woman Mamta, and the child spoke to this man and said, "Oh, the child in the womb said that no, there is no space for two, and I'm the first one, so you can't come." So these people have said even the child in the womb resisted Sanatan Dharma. So what a foolish mark to make. Let me see what's written on the other slide. Okay, nothing is written there. Oh yeah. This is foremost of the eloquent men in Hindu Dharma. Okay. So first of all, this is wrong. This is wrong because it has not happened like this at all. Our men were high virtues. Even Swami Kriyananda of Ananda Sangha, you can contact him and he'll tell you what Hindu ideals are. They believe in ideal worship, not idol worship, but ideal worship. If such was the case, these were not to be respected, such people. So this story, now I'll tell you the proof. So I have copied this actually from this reference. The wife of the elder, this is what our scriptures say. The wife of the elder brother for the younger, a wife of the preceptor, and the wife of the younger brother has been declared to be daughter-in-law for the elder. It means to say that when there are two brothers and the older brother will consider the younger brother's wife as his daughter-in-law. She will be like his daughter. A daughter-in-law is like a daughter in Hinduism. So she'll be considered like this. If the elder brother has recourse to the wife of the younger, or the younger brother to the wife of the elder, they become outcast. So now they are saying a situation that if the elder brother has had sex with the wife of the younger brother, or the younger brother had sex with the wife of the elder brother, then they will be outcast, even though authorized except in times of distress. So they will become outcast. This kind of relationships are not allowed. In fact, they are punishable. If you go further into Manusmriti, you will see that these kind of acts are punishable. Now let me read to you something from the Bible. First, let me see if I have opened this. Okay, so let me close this and let me close this. Okay, so let me open this. I didn't close that. Yeah. So this says a verse called verse 957 of Manusmriti. That's the same one that I'm talking about, the previous one. See this one, 957 and 958. So I open this here. In Manusmriti, it says, I will not read this thing. It's the same thing. The wife of the elder brother is for the younger wife of the preceptor, and the wife of the younger brother has been declared to be daughter-in-law. And the other one is these two verses describe the actual state of things for the purpose of laying down the advisability of niyoga or appointment in times of distress. So this is for the niyoga is only for the royal families, and you will not find any other examples. Okay, now let me go to the Bible. If you read Genesis chapter 38, it says, at that time Judah left his brothers and went down to stay with a man of Adullam named Hira. There Judah met the daughter of a Canaanite man named Shua. He married her and made love to her. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son, who named her Ur. She conceived again and gave birth to a son and named him Onan. She gave birth to still another son and named him Shelah. It was at Kezib that she gave birth to him. Judah got a wife for his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. I don't think, okay, yeah. But Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the Lord's sight, so the Lord put him to death. So the first son was put to death by the Lord. Then Judah said to Onan, sleep with your brother's wife and fulfill your duty to her as a brother in law. It sounds like niyog, but it is not niyog, because niyog was only done in royal families. So sleep with your brother's wife and fulfill your duty to her as a brother in law to raise up offspring for your brother. But Onan knew that the child would not be his. So whenever he slept with his brother's wife, he spilled his semen on the ground to keep from providing offspring for his brother. So now the Lord put the first elder son to death. Now the wife of that elder son was told by the father-in-law to go and sleep with the other brother. But the other brother didn't want the elder brother's wife. So what cunningness he did, that he spilled the semen on the ground so that she doesn't get pregnant. What he did was wicked in the Lord's sight, so the Lord put him to death also. So this Lord is very anxious in putting everybody to death. Even though they say that you give your one cheek, then you somebody comes and tries and slap you in one cheek, then give your other cheek also. But here the Lord is putting to death everybody on small things. Like if he doesn't want a woman, he has to have it, or otherwise God will put him to death. Judah then said to his daughter-in-law Tamar, live as a widow in your father's household until my son Shelah grows up, for he thought he may die too, just like his brothers. So Tamar went to live in her father's household. After a long time, Judah's wife, the daughter of Shua, died. When Judah had recovered from his grief, he went up to Timnah to the men who were shearing his sheep, and his friend Hira, the Adullamite, went with him. When Tamar was told, your father-in-law is on his way to Timnah to shear his sheep, she took off her widow's clothes, covered herself with a veil to disguise herself, and then sat down at the entrance to Enam, which is on the road to Timnah. For she saw that though Shelah had now grown up, she had not been given to him as his wife. So it is the youngest brother, like a young brother, who is like very young. So this woman is very clever, and she is the malicious imposter. She tries to put a veil. So veils are used to disguise. Here you can see also like a hijab or a veil, like this burqa. She put a veil to disguise herself. So these veils are a means to disguise yourself. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a prostitute, for she had covered her face, not realizing that she was his daughter in law. Oh, so this is the father. Oh, yeah. Father in law, Judah. He went over to her by the roadside and said, "Come now, let me sleep with you." "And what will you give me to sleep with you?" she asked. "I'll send you a young goat from my flock." "Will you give me something as a pledge until you send it?" she asked. He said, "What pledge should I give you?" "Your seal and its cord and the staff in your hand," she answered. So he gave them to her and slept with her, and she became pregnant by him. So this daughter-in-law is getting pregnant by the father-in-law. So we have seen already too much immorality. Now we are seeing even more. After she left, she took off her veil and put on her widow's clothes again. Meanwhile, Judah sent the young goat by his friend the Abdullamite in order to get his pledge back from the woman, but he did not find her. He asked the men who lived there, "Where is the shrine prostitute who was beside the road at Enam?" "There hasn't been any shrine prostitute here," they said. So he went back to Judah and said, I didn't find her. Besides, the men who lived there said, "There hasn't been any shrine prostitute here." Then Judah said, "Let her keep what she has, or we will become a laughing stock. After all, I did send her this young goat, but you didn't find her." About 3 months later, Judah was told, "Your daughter-in-law Tamar is guilty of prostitution, and as a result, she is now pregnant." Judah said, "Bring her out and have her burned to death." As she was brought out, she sent a message to her father-in-law, "I am pregnant by the man who owns these," she said, and she added, "See if you recognize whose seal and cord and staff are these." And then Judah recognized that. So I don't want to read the whole story. I got carried away. I wanted to read more, so I just kept reading. But you will see by now that these people are sleeping with their brothers, their father-in-law, so many things. Anyways, and they are not DCCI ministries are not taking examples from just Vedas and Bhagavad Gita, which are our scriptures, but they are going into some authors like who have written books like Dayanand Saraswati. So they are saying, "Oh, so whole Sanatan Dharma is represented by Dayanand Saraswati, or by some Manusmriti, or some other text in Hinduism, or history book also." Like everybody who is mentioned according to DCCI ministries, everybody who is mentioned in Hinduism history books, or all Hindus, even the laborer, everybody has to be really, really pious according to their standards, according to the high ideals which Hinduism has. And if even one is not like that, then entire Hinduism was bad. That's their problem. Anyways, I have shown that there is nothing of the kind, that we have been misquoted, and it is in the Bible only that all this immorality has come from. Let us proceed further. 19th one. They have put this slide called Vishnu 74.4. That country where there is no differentiation of the four castes should be known as the Malecha Desa. Other than this is Aryavrata. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.25. At that time, the incarnation Kalki will appear. Malecha Nivaha Nidhane Kalyasi Bakara Balam. He will kill all the Malechas indiscriminately with his sword. Okay, let us see and verify Srimad Bhagavat 1.3.25. So, there. This is Srimad Bhagavan 1.3.25. Therefore, thereafter, at the conjunction of two yugas, the Lord of the creation will take his birth as the Kalki incarnation, and become a son of Vishnu Yasa. At this time, almost all the rulers of the earth will have degenerated into plunderers. So you see that this again I'll show you. DCCI Ministries has set Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.25. Remember 1.3.25. They say he will kill all the manechas indiscriminately with his sword. A Kalki avatar will come and he will kill all the malechas indiscriminately with his sword. 1.3.25. Now, 1.3.25. I have opened this. I show you the top. Chapter 3, verse 25, Srimad Bhagavat, English one. It says that at the conjunction of the two yugas, the Lord of the creation will take his birth as the Kalki incarnation, which is our 10th, the last avatar in Hinduism is the Kalki and Kali Yuga. And he will become the son of Vishnu Yasa. At this time, almost all the rulers of the earth will have degenerated into plunderers. It doesn't talk about killing, it talks about that at that time so much sin will be there on this earth in the Kali Yuga that all the rulers on this earth would have become plunderers, like the big dacoits, like the dakus or the dasyus, as mentioned in the Vedas. So they will be looting other people's property. So it's misquoted again. Now, let me go to the next one. Is the 20th slide that they showed. It says Srimad Bhagavatam 11.4.22. In his incarnation as Buddha, he shall bewilder by his arguments of ahimsa, which is non-violence. It should be not non-violence. The Daityas performing sacrifices, though not entitled to the performance thereof. Then in the Kali Yuga, incarnating himself as Kalki, he shall slay the Sudra kings. So Sudra kings. Okay, let me show you if this is right or wrong. Srimad Bhagavat 11.4.22. Wait, let me see in the next. So, 11.4.22, right? So this is 11.4. So this is chapter 4 and 22. It says, to diminish the burden of the earth, the unborn Lord will take birth in the Yadu dynasty and perform feats impossible even for the demigods. Propounding speculative philosophy, the Lord as Buddha will bewilder the unworthy performance of Vedic sacrifices, and as Kalki, the Lord will kill all the low-class men posing as rulers. See, that's what is written. Low-class men posing as rulers at the end of the age of Kalki. So they will be the low-class rulers. So who are low-class and who are high-class? We already saw that these will be posing as rulers, so they will be imposters because they are plunderers. They will become the rulers and they will be killed by the Kalki avatar who will be born in the age of Kali Yuga. In the age of Kali Yuga. So that is what it is there. And I don't find anything wrong in it. Because these will be the imposters or the frauds who will act as rulers. Now you see all these politicians or people who are ruling, they are imposters and they are just corrupt and they just want to amass money. They are plunderers in a way, and that's what they are doing. So Kalki avatar will be born and he will destroy these kind of corrupt people who want to take advantage of their position, and they are imposters. Let's go to the next one. It says Adhikaran 6, treating the authority of words as used by Malechas, and this translation is done by Ganganath Jha. Okay, Before I go further, let me tell you something, that this malicious man called Ganganath Jha, he should be jailed and punished severely, because I have found several fake copies by this Ganganath Jha. Either he is from a different community, he is posing himself as a Hindu, or he is a sleeper cell. I would just say that he is most probably a sleeper cell who has been doing this kind of. I found fake Mahabharat online, because there were some verses which were absolutely false. If you open the authentic book, you will find the notice. It is a remarkable difference. That was the first time when I came to know about this Ganganath Jha, because I I was so trusting. I thought everybody spoke truth, so I never doubted anybody. But now, when I saw that that this man Ganganath Jha has done this kind of work, I was like, I'm really uh, pissed off. Anyways, it's pissed off is a small thing. He has done a very grave sin. If you're maligning other people's uh, if you're adulterating other people's documents as their scriptures, then you are doing a grave sin, and you should burn in hell for doing such a work. I would not say that you should do this with any religion, or do put in words your own words. That's a grave sin, and highly unethical. Anyways, now let's come to this word called malechas. This has been used by many people, and they have pointed fingers at Hindus or Hinduism, saying that malechas, you call us malechas and all that. So let me tell you that malechas, the word in Hinduism, the words contain the meaning in the word itself. So when you want to know the meaning of the word, what does it mean, then you see the word, what it contains, and you know the meaning. That way you can know the meaning of any word. Now there is one thing called the popular meaning, and one is the actual meaning. When there are some words like people have just used grossly, because it is the popular meaning, the popular meaning. So whatever the popular meaning is, that's not the popular meaning is of malecha, is that um, in our household, our parents used to say, oh, you want, why are you looking towards meat, in the grocery store? It's are you like a malecha? So it was taken, popular meaning is that somebody who eats non-vegetarian stuff. It was used as that in our households. But actual meaning of malecha is mal ki ichha karne wala. So mal ki ichha means, mal means poop, and ichha means desire. The one who is desirous of poop, the one who's desirous of shit, the one who is desirous of feces, is called a malecha. Means one who is desirous of feces. So who is desirous of feces? Like, they're considered all this kind of food which involves violence, killing animals and eating them, is like eating feces. So that's why this word came into being. And these people were adharmi, meaning that they were un-Arya, means that they were non-Aryans. The non-Aryans were not automatically malechas, but the word Arya means one who is like a gentleman with ideal virtues, and the un-Arya means that he didn't contain virtues. Generally, the malechas were the people who belonged to the um, other category, which is they were non-virtuous. So that's the actual meaning. Now let's go back to our slide. So here I'm not going to explain anything. I have explained you the meaning of malecha. That is the actual meaning of malecha. And this Ganganath Jha should be jailed, and he should be penalized heavily, and he should be shed. Yeah, he should be penalized for making all kinds of adulterations in text and saying all kinds of nonsense that doesn't make sense. 22nd slide is Shri Vishnu establishing dharma by killing Shudra. Again, we go to Brahmand Puran is stated here 1, 2, 31, and 77 to 84 verses. So there are so many verses, approximately like 77, 78, 79. So there are like 8 verses of Brahmand Puran. And I will just read the underlined portions. He killed all the Malechas all round along with those kings, the heretics born of Shudra women. Malecha slew these also people who are born of parents of different castes, those who dependent on them. Okay, let us see this from Brahmand Puran 1.2.31.77 onwards. Okay. This is Brahmand Puran, and I've opened 77 onwards. In the previous, and we'll read 8 verses from here onwards. In the previous Swayambhu Manavantra, he had been born of a part of Madhava Vishnu. For a full period of 20 years, he wandered over the earth, taking with him an army along with horses, chariots, and elephants. Surrounded by hundreds and thousands of Brahmanas yielding weapons, he killed all the Malechas all round, along with all those kings, the heretics born of Shrudra women. The Lord exterminates those heretics. Everywhere he kills all those who are not scrupulously religious. So, this heretic word means, if you go back to your own slide, I will show you the word heretic was used for a woman who had 5 husbands. So they were malechas, and they were having sex like animals. So he killed all the malechas. So who is killing here? I believe the avatar, the Vishnu avatar is killing. The Lord who was strong and who annihilated all the malechas slew these also, people who were born of parents of different castes, those who dependent on them, the Udikyas, northerners, Madhya Desyas, persons of middle lands, Parvatiyas, mountain dwellers, Praikyas, easterners, Pratikyas, westerners, and those who Pratityas, sorry, those who walked about on the ridges of the Vindhya mountains, Dakshinatyas, southerners, Dravidas, along with Simhalas, Silonis, Gandharas, Paradas, Pahalavas, Yavanas, Sakas, Tusaras, Barbaras, Sinas, Chinese, Sulikas, Daradas, Khasas, Lampakaras, Kartakas, and different tribes of Kiratas. The powerful Lord, wielding the discus, slew all these barbarous people. So these people, Malechas, were the barbarians who used to attack people, plunder and loot. So in other words, Muhammad, the Nabi Muhammad of Islam, he comes to my mind whenever I read barbarians. So these barbarians whom he called Malechas, so he killed all these Malechas everywhere, who were barbarians, who used to take pleasure, who were sadistic, who took pleasure in uh, uh, in causing pain to other people. They are called as barbarians, and here the Malechas were the barbarians who were killed by the Vishnu avatar. So I don't find anything wrong in it, because once you kill the serial killers, the barbarians who are killing people, then you are saving, and it's the Lord's um, righteous duty to kill them and protect the good people, right? So when people are giving you, they are killing other people around, and God is ending their life. I don't understand what's wrong. He is establishing dharma by killing a Shudra. Now let's go to the next slide. So I have read this one, Brahmand Puran, already. So let's go to this website also and read about Jesus Christ. So there, have you ever seen that we have a book called Bhavishya Puran, which means it talks about future. It's a future Puran. And in our future Puran, which was written in ancient ages before even Jesus was, when Jesus was present or before his birth, also there are some cases written. So, what is written about Jesus Christ in Bhavishya Puran? I'll read that. Jesus Christ in the Bhavishya Puran. The following prediction of Jesus Christ is found in the ancient Hindu scripture known as Bhavishya Puran. Bhavishya means future and Purana means history. So the name means the history of the future. The Bhavishya Puran was originally written 5,000 years ago by the sage Vyasa, who was the compiler of the Vedic scriptures. Usually, Puranas are historical narrations of universal events that happened in ancient times. But in the case of Bhavishya Puran, Vyasa is providing a narration of events that will happen in the future, beginning with the arrival of the age of Kali Yuga. So, Bhavishya Puran, Pratisarga Parva, Chatur Yuga Khand, Dvitiya Adhyay, 19th chapter, text 17 to 32. Let me read this text. And I'm not going to read the Sanskrit here, but I'll just read the translation. Ruling over the Aryans was a king called Salivahan, the grandson of Vikramaditya, who occupied he defeated the Shakas, who were very difficult to subdue, the Chinas, the people from Titri and Bahikos, who could assume any form at will. He also defeated the people from Rome and the descendants of Kuru, who were deceitful and wicked. He punished them severely and took their wealth. Salivahan thus established the boundaries dividing the separate countries of the Malechas and the Aryans. In this way, so they were wicked people, and so he separated the boundaries of his land and their land. In this way, Sindhustan, Sindhu actually in a Vedic language, Sindhu means a water body. So Sindhustan came to be known as the greatest country. That personality appointed the abode of the Malechas beyond the Sindhu River and to the west. Once upon a time, the subduer of the Sakas went towards Himatunga, and in the middle of the Huna county, Hunadesh, the area near Manas Sarovar or Kailash mountain in the western Tibet, the powerful king saw an auspicious man who was living on a mountain. The man's complexion was golden and his clothes were white. I am the expounder of the religion of the Malechas, and I strictly adhere to the absolute truth. Hearing this, the king inquired, what are the religious principles according to your opinion? Hearing this question of Salivahan, Ishaputra said, O king, when the destruction of the truth occurred, I, Masiha the prophet, came to this country of degraded people where there are no rules and regulations, finding that fearful, irreligious condition of the barbarians spreading from Malecha Desha, I have taken to prophethood. So, in our Bhavishya Puran, it is written actually that that Muhammad was a Malech who established the Peshachik Dharma or the demon cult in the desert. While in our same Bhavishya Puran, it is also written that Jesus was also a Malech, but he established a Dharma. So good is written about Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ in this Bhavishya Puran is telling Shalivahana king that I am the prophet of the Malechas, and I am going to establish the truth. Please hear, O king, which religious principles I have established among the Malechas. The living entity is subject to good and bad contaminations. The mind should be purified by taking recourse of proper conduct and performance of japa. By chanting the holy names, one attains the highest purity. Just as immovable sun attracts from all directions the elements of all living beings, the Lord of the solar region, who is fixed and all attractive, attracts the hearts of living creatures. Anyways, I'm not, O descendant of Manu, one should worship that immovable Lord. Anyways, so you can read that if you are more interested in going further, you can read it in your spare time. Let's go ahead. to the 23rd slide, which says, now this was a question. My slides were finished, like DCCI Ministries finished all the slides, and then they had people sitting in their audience who were asking me questions. So one question was asked by Aaron Polinati. He said, Dr. Preeti, why did Manu have sex with Satrupa, his sister, according to Saraswati Puran? I couldn't find any Saraswati Puran, but if I read Matsya Puran, chapter 3, page 17, it gives the answer. So let's read Matsya Puran. Let me close this one. Now, Matsya Puran, let me read from here. And let me make it a little bigger. So here it says in Matsya Puran, chapter 3, Lord Brahma, after creating his Manas Putra. So Manas Putras are like Lord Brahma had a thought that he should make creation. So the thought only created children. He never had any sex or any contact with anybody. He just had a thought from in his mind. So these sons were called mind sons. Manas Putra means mind sons. So he created 10 sons just by a thought. So his Manas Putras was not quite satisfied with the work of his creation. He set about devising some plan which would carry on the work of creation and would achieve him the task. For this view, he began to invoke a Gayatri. After some time, the goddess Gayatri, known under different names. So Gayatri has several names. You can call her Shatrupa, Savitri, Saraswati, Brahmani. So it appeared in the form of a girl from the half portion of Brahma's body. So actually Brahma's body split into two parts, and after he started doing japa of Gayatri and started invoking her, his own body split, and from his half body, Saraswati was born. From his half body, Saraswati came. Not like a baby, but she was born as a girl, like half body became a girl. So Brahma thought that she should become his daughter, but the Devatas explained to him that since wife should be the half organ of a male, like a husband, so she should be your wife. So then Brahma enjoyed the company of Savitri for 100 years, and after a long time, Manu was born to them. So Manu was born. Manu thus born was Swayambhu Manu, who, owning to his close affinity to Brahma, is also called Adi Purush, the first man. So the Adi Purush is Manu. The progeny of Swayambhu Manu multiplied considerably, and the Varajas are among them. So the fish god replied, King Gayatri, that appeared from the body of Brahma, possessed of infinite forms and organs, begot following 7 children. Swayambhu Manu, Rati, the wife of Cupid, also means desire of something, Tapas, Manas, Dik, Sambhrama, and Mahatattva. So these were other children born. So what I'm trying to say is Satrupa was the wife of Brahma, not of Manu. Maybe there is something more I've marked. Let me see. Did I miss anything more? Yeah. Afterwards, Swayambhu Manu became the husband of. So now Manu got married to Ananti, whom he obtained after great penances. By this alliance, Swayambhu Manu was blessed with 2 sons, Priya Priyavyata. See, this thing is not very. This is an old book, so its text is not very legible. Priyavartan and Uttanapad. And of these, latter was married to Sunarita, the daughter of Dharma. So here they are given names of the 2 sons which were born to Manu and Ananti. So Ananti was the wife of Manu. So Satrupa was also Saraswati, and she was Brahma's half body and his wife. So Manu did not have any sex with Satrupa because Manu's mother is Satrupa, and there is nothing called Saraswati Puran. So this I have already read. Next, come to the 24th slide. So another person called Mandalorian. Mandalorian asked me a question. Lord Vishnu raped Vrinda by disguising himself as her husband. She rebuked him angrily after figuring out what was really going on. This was from Skanda Puran, part 2, 21:10-24. So let me answer this question. Vishnu raped Vrinda. So actually I have taken it from the source only and copied pasted, because this was the earlier slide I did. At that time I was copy pasting from the sources, and later on I found it very cumbersome, so I just pasted the reference links. Jalandhar was a demon king. Now listen to the context first, and then please do not cherry pick things out of context. Jalandhar was a demon king, so he was a big demon. He was very powerful, and his wife Vrinda was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. So she was not raped by Vishnu, she was a devotee of Vishnu. Jalandhar used all his powers and created a powerful illusion to trap Lord Shiva, his Gana, and his Devas. So Ganas are and Devas used to be like his followers, the Lord Shivas. He wanted to make a powerful illusion and trap all these people along with Shiva. Not expecting the attack, Lord Shiva, because he was trusting and he was busy meditating, Lord Shiva and the others were stunned as they were struck inside the illusion. Seeing Lord Shiva and the others struck inside the illusion, Jalandhar went to Kailash. This is the abode of Lord Shiva, where he saw goddess Parvati. So he has trapped these people in an illusion, and then he went to goddess Parvati. Jalandhara smiled slyly as he used his powers and changed his form like Lord Shiva. So it is the other way around. It is Jalandhar who made himself look like Shiva and went to Parvati. Jalandhar went to meet goddess Parvati looking like Lord Shiva. Parvati, I have come back victorious. I have defeated Jalandhar. He pretended to be Shiva and he went to Parvati and said, "Oh, Parvati, I have come back after this war and I am victorious and I have defeated that demon Jalandhar." Goddess Parvati looked at Lord Shiva and frowned at him. She felt something was wrong. She closed her eyes and used her powers to sense who was before her, because she also has powers. So she closed her eyes and she came to know that this demon is standing in front of her, posing himself as Lord Shiva. When Parvati opened her eyes, she was angry. "Jalandhar, you dare come here in my husband's form?" She walked up and picked up her sword and pointed it at him. He knew he could not fight goddess Parvati now, so he ran from there. Goddess Parvati went to Lord Vishnu and told him everything. How can Jalandhar be so powerful? Because he has taken the shape of Lord Shiva and even approached Parvati on Kailash. So how did this demon have so much power to come to the abode of Lord Shiva and take the form of Lord Shiva? So Lord Vishnu said Jalandhar was already powerful. He has now married Vrinda. You remember Vrinda is a devotee of Lord Shiva. So Jalandhar was a demon king and he has married a very pious woman and a very devoted woman called Vrinda. She is my greatest devotee. Every time Jalandhar goes to war, she prays to me. Oh, she's a devotee of not Shiva but of Vishnu. So Vishnu is saying that this demon is powerful, but he gets his power from his wife. Because the wife prays to Vishnu every time he goes for a war, She gets lot of powers by her prayers. It is because of her that Jalandhar is becoming invincible. Because when if you are a great devotee and if you ask the Lord for anything, the Lord will give, and she always asks for her husband becoming victorious. So every time Lord Vishnu will grant her that wish, and her husband demon would become victorious. So Goddess Parvati looked at Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu looked at Goddess Parvati with troubled eyes. He knew what he had to do, but could he do such a thing to his own devotee? So now they knew what they had to do. But can they fool their own devotee? That's the question. So Lord Vishnu unhappily walked out of there and went back to Vaikunt, which is his abode, Vishnu's abode. He knew he had no choice but to do what he had to do. He had to fool that, he had to make, like, you see, every time you have to remember, every time Jalandhar goes to war, she prays to me. So he has to somehow stop uh, Vrinda from praying so that the boon is not given to her, so that Jalandhar does not win. Because every time she prays, Vishnu has to grant her the boon. So now he knows he has to stop Vrinda. So the purpose is only to stop Vrinda from praying at the same time her husband, demon husband, goes to war. So the next morning, as Vrinda knew that her husband would begin his battle with Lord Shiva, she started her prayers for his welfare. Because again, she knew that her husband is going to start the battle with Lord Shiva and Lord Shiva is going to win. But because of she knows that, she starts praying for his welfare. As she was deep in her meditation, she saw someone enter her room. She opened her eyes and was startled to find her husband before her. So Vishnu, I think, has taken the face of her husband to stop her from praying. That's all. She blinked as Jalandhar came before her and told her with pride, I have done it. I have defeated Lord Shiva. Now there is no one as strong as me, he said with pride as Vrinda thanked Lord Vishnu. She stopped her prayers to prepare for the celebration for her husband's victory. So Lord Vishnu did the same thing that demon did, but his intention was to stop Vrinda from praying. That's all. It was at that minute at the battlefield between Lord Shiva and the real Jalandhar that Lord Shiva defeated Jalandhar and stabbed him straight in the chest with his trishul. Without her wife's uh, prayer to protect him, the weapon pierced into his body, killing Jalandhar then and there. So the demon was getting power because of his praying wife. So Lord Vishnu only tried to stop Vrinda from praying to him. That's all. And I must say that, you know, these people who are saying such abusive things about Vishnu raping Vrinda and all, they should be punished, I think. These people should be punished, they should be penalized. Anytime you make a quote, at least go through the books. See, when we make a quote about the Quran or this thing, we actually open the Quran or the Hadees books and we copy the same thing from there and write it. You should never go on Google and just copy paste from there. It is not, um, it is a sinful thing to malign somebody. Even a bad person also, for them also, never say wrong stuff. Always speak the truth, because if you ever speak lies, a part of your body will die. You know that Yudhishthir, when he went in this battlefield and he said Ashwathama is dead, even though he was speaking the truth, there was an elephant named Ashwathama who had died. So even when he was speaking the truth, he knew that Ashwathama was also the son of Dronacharya, and his intention was to stop, to make Dronacharya be anxious about his son and not be alert in the battlefield. So he had a different intention. So that's why one of the thumbs of Yudhishthir was, you know, gave way, like what you call that. Let me me Google that word. I don't know. It says melted away. So melted away. So Yudhishthir's thumb melted away because he spoke with double meaning. He said Ashwathama is dead, and Dronacharya's son was also Ashwathama, and the Ashwathama was also an elephant who had died. So even though he was speaking the truth, one of his thumbs melted away. So whenever we speak lies, a part of our body dies. So why should we speak lies? So never quote something from Google and then just present it as if it is the truth without even opening, just to make fun of other people and their religion. Even if a religion is bad, like if I quote Islam, I'm not going to make up things and just try and malign the religion. There is enough bad in the scriptures itself. I don't even have to cook up anything. But I'm just trying to say, even if it is a serial killer or a bad person, never say wrong stuff about that person. So when you don't speak lies about even a serial killer, why should you speak lies about saintly people? That's so much more grave sin. So somebody who has said this, DCCI Ministries, I think they should apologize. They should apologize to all the Hindus and that they have not opened any of the scriptures, that they have just copy pasted randomly and maliciously from Google, because many things that they have just uh, even copied from their own slides, they have not been able to reproduce it exactly, and maliciously they have cherry picked and left the context and things like that. That is not expected from learned, educated people. Anyways, let me go back to the slide. So Vishnu never raped Vrinda. Mandalorian, I think, has asked this question. So, Mandalorian, you should apologize to all the Hindu community for writing such a thing. So, Vishnu, if anybody would rape, they would never be our gods. So, Vishnu tried to stop Vrinda from praying to him and asking a boon for her, for the life of her demon husband. That's it. Now let's go to the next question. Anthony Noronha asked me a question. Is there a caste system, that is four castes and many subcastes in Hindu scriptures? And also he has two questions. One is on castes and the other is the cow sacred in Hindu scriptures? And if not, why do Hindus kill beef eaters? Okay, so caste system in which there is four caste. I think I have covered this in a lot in my earlier slides. So I will. Yesterday when I did the part one, I think in the beginning only I had shown you about the slides about the castes. Let me go back and show you something. When I told you that in India it was the Varna system, and in which depending upon the skills of your children, they will be either a Brahmin or Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra. I said that everybody who's born is born as a Shudra. So I told you everybody this one that there are four castes: Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, and everybody is born as a Shudra. But later on, after attaining and seeing their aptitude and skills, they become either Brahmin, Kshatriya, or Vaishya. And in one household, you can have all these. And then I gave you example of change, and I gave you that Atre Rishi was a criminal, but he became a Brahmin. Alush Rishi was also a gambler, low character, but he became an Acharya. Satyakam was the son of a prostitute, but became a Brahmin. Prishad was the son of Daksha, but he became a Shudra. Then Nabhag was a king's son, but he became a farmer, a Vaishya. His sons became a Kshatriya. So Drisht was the son of Nabhag, but he became a Brahman. Their sons became Kshatriyas. Then there are so many examples that I have given. Please go back and listen to the part one. And see, Ravan was born from a rishi, but he became a demon. Even Pravridha was the son of a king, of a Raghukul king, means he was a Kshatriya, but he became a Rakshas or a demon, which is even lower than the Shudra. And I explained you that about the punishment system, that Brahmins were punished 128 or 100 times more than a Shudra. That means if they were educated people, they were punished more. So it was convertible. A Brahmin can also, suppose like there was a Brahmin, he is educated person and he is teaching people, but tomorrow he leaves his profession and he doesn't do teaching anymore. He will not be called a Brahmin, and then he will be called according to whatever he is doing then. So and I had shown you the meaning of Shudra also. Shudravati. Dravati means the one who does the work faster. Then you're asking me a question about cow. Let me see. Go back to the slide. Okay. So you're talking about the next question you have is, if not, why do Hindus kill beef eaters? So Hindus don't kill at all. Hindus never kill anybody. We are such non-violent. Even Buddhism is a branch of Hinduism. Hinduism preaches uh, non-violence to even animals. Most of the Hindus are vegetarians. They also don't want to kill any animal and eat it. They are non-violent. So now I will prove to you. 1 second. So regarding your question on uh, this one, first let me tell you this about the Varnas, that in Manusmriti and in Mahabharata there is a common shloka, which means जिस मनुष्य का जो लक्षण वर्ण की पहचान के लिए बतलाया गया है, उसको यदि दूसरे वर्ण के मनुष्य में भी पाए तो उसको उसी वर्ण का समझे. This shloka says that यस्य यल्लक्षणं प्रोक्तं पुंसो वर्णोभिव्यञ्जकं यदन्यत्रापि दृश्येत तत्तेनैव निर्दिशेत. It means that suppose a person is a Brahmin, but now he is liking farming. So he will not be called a Brahmin, but he'll be called a Vaishya. So if you find in a Shudra that he is wanting to go to gym and do all these kind of activities which are in protection or security, then he should be called a Kshatriya, not a Shudra. So that's what this shloka, and it is common in Manusmriti and in Mahabharata and in Bhagavad Puran. The next one is Shankar Niti, in which Swami Shankaracharya has written, Na jatya brahmanaschatra kshatriyo vaishya evana shudro na cha vai malecho bheditah guna कर्मभिः. मीन्स यहाँ जाति जन्म से कोई ब्राह्मण क्षत्रिय वैश्य शूद्र या मलेच्छ नहीं होता, सब गुण कर्मों के भेद से होते हैं. So by birth you don't become a Brahmin or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya, Shudra or even Malech. You are not by birth. You are by your deeds. Whatever deeds you do or whatever aptitude or thinking you have, that determines what you are. Okay, now I'll show you about your question on. I will not go into Jati Bhed, another PowerPoint that I have already prepared on varnas. It will be too much. You don't need that much information. This much is okay. So let me tell you another thing, that many people say that India is the largest producer of exporter of beef, and that's also false, because not the exporter of cow meat, it's a buffalo meat. And there is another animal which looks like a buffalo. His Hindi name is another. I'm forgetting it. It's that animal and buffalo. That meat is exported, not cow. Cows are in many states in India. Cow is banned. Killing of a cow is banned. Okay. So now you said why? Sorry, what was your question? Was that why? You said why Hindus kill beef eaters. I have never come across even one person who has killed, because Hindus don't kill others. Hindus are the ones who are being killed. Hindus are the ones who are being converted. Hindus don't kill anybody. Some very brave Hindus may retaliate on the violence done on them, but that's very small percentage, and that too they do when violence has been done on them before. So I have not come across even one Hindu who has killed a beef eater. It would, if that was true, then they would be, all the Muslims will be dead in India. If that was true, none of the Muslims would be surviving. In fact, they are growing at a very exponential rate. So your question by logic is also false. Now let me show you something, that why the government seizes these people who, not because they are beef eaters, but they rape the cows. I'll show you, and there's not one instance, two instances. See, Madhya Pradesh, in another act of bestiality, a cow was raped, accused Chotu Khan, so he's a Muslim man. Uttarakhand, Muhammad Nafis tries to rape a cow in Haldwani, locals shave his head in protest. So he is raping a cow. Maharashtra, Usman Khan tried to rape a pregnant cow. The cow was pregnant and he was raping her. Owned by Bajrang Dal activist, failing which he inserted a blade and tried to rip out. I'm not even opening the news to read the full news. Inserted a blade and tried to rip out her organs. So these people are sadistic, and they are doing not only raping, they are trying to torture an animal. So you don't think that the government should hold them responsible for causing pain to animals? Do you know that if you abuse a dog in the West, you have laws protecting even dogs? So if dogs can be protected, then if you are making um, so much use of a cow, you're drinking her milk, you are making dairy products out of her, you're using even her cow dung, and then you are raping her also. So you don't think that these people should be caught and punished for the activities that they are doing, ungrateful people? And Hindus call cows as mothers, not because they are our biological mothers, but because we are so much um, sensitive people and ethical people, Hindus, that they think that if they drink the milk of an animal, she is like their mother because she's giving us our milk. These are the sentiments. And if you don't have these sentiments, then you decide if you are in the category of a gentleman or a barbarian. What kind of a thinking you have? Let me go further and read a few more, I mean. So Usman Khan, then West Bengal, 29-year-old man brutally rapes a pregnant cow. The cow dies due to excessive bleeding. Uttar Pradesh, Shahabuddin rapes cow in broad daylight in Ayodhya, arrested after videos shared with police. After murders and rapes by TMC goons in West, okay. Bhopal, 55-year-old Sabir Ali enters dairy farm and rapes a cow, arrested after CCTV footage revealed the crime. Mangalore, Muhammad Ansari rapes a cow by tying its limbs. Villagers catch him in the act, arrested. Andhra Pradesh, pregnant cow brutally raped and assaulted. Locals demand arrest of culprits. See, there are 24 pages of this. I have just read the news of one page only. I'm not going to spend all the time reading cow rapes, but you can search cow rapes and you will discover that most of the Muslim community people are doing cow rapes, and that is why the government has arrested them. None of the Hindus have killed any beef eaters. So I think I have answered your question, Anthony Noron Haji. I have answered your question that Hindus never kill beef eaters. So, um, also, I'll tell you Atharva Ved, just note down that it says 5.11.3 says that na dasah, it's na arya, means न कोई उपक्षय की वृत्ति वाला पुरुष और न आर्यः न कोई धनी वैश्य मीमाय हिंसत करने वाला होगा, अर्थात भयों व प्रलोभनों से मैं कर्तव्य मार्ग से विचलित न होऊंगा. This is very important mantra because it tells that I will follow the righteous path. I will not be afraid of terrorists and temptations. I will not be afraid of fears and temptations. You know, the Christians usually give temptations, like they will try and give money or rice bags to poor people, try to convert, and Muslims will generally, try and show you fear that if they are going to bully you. They will tell you that they will take your life if you don't convert. So this mantra says that I will not be afraid of the fears and the temptations, and I will never leave the path of righteousness. Now come to the next question. Daniel Gogi asked me a question. Dr. Preeti, Vasudev and Kunti and siblings of Arjun and Subhadra are married. And Arjun was born to Vasudev and Subhadra was born to Kunti. So is Arjun not cousin to Subhadra? Okay, that's a good question. First of all, Hindus don't marry even the first cousins. You should know that. If this was happening, that people were marrying their own sisters, then whole entire race of Hinduism would be doing the same thing, what their ancestors did. It is not like this. This is false. I'll explain you why. First of all, Kunti invokes Indra for a son at the request of Pandu. Because as you hear about the story, you know that Pandu was, he killed a rishi who was in the garb of a deer and making love to his wife in another deer. So he killed them while they were copulating. Not killed them, but injured them or whatever. So he had a curse that he will die as soon as he copulates. So he could not produce a son with Kunti. Now Kunti is a royal daughter-in-law, and she has to have an heir. So Pandu says that why don't you invoke gods and have a son? That doesn't mean you have sex with gods. Gods don't have sex. When they bless you with a child, the child comes in your lap. So Arjun was conceived using this mantra. So she invoked Indra and she recited the mantra, and at the behest of her husband Pandu, who could not perform coitus without surviving. So Arjun was not born from either. You know, he was a given child by Indra, God. So even though Kunti is the mother and Pandu is the father, but they are not biological because he was a celestial child. Subhadra's parents were Vasudev, father, and Rohini was the mother. So Arjun and Subhadra are not sister. Cousins. I mean, they are not even cousins. Now I'll say Manusmriti, English, page 76. Okay, let me save this first of all. Okay, here. It says that these are the punishments if you have sex. He who had sexual intercourse with sisters by the same mother, with the wives of a friend or of a son, with unmarried maidens, and with females of the lowest caste shall perform the penance prescribed for the violation of a guru's bed. He who has approached the daughter of his father's sister. Is it big enough, or I'll make it even bigger so you can read it? So this is Manusmriti, or law book, and it says, he who has approached the daughter of his father's sister, who is almost equal to a sister, the daughter of his mother's sister, or his mother's full brother, shall perform a lunar penance. A wise man should not take as his wife any of these three. They must not be wedded because they are Sapinda relatives, and he who marries one of them sinks low. A man who has committed a bestial crime or an unnatural crime with a female, or has intercourse in water. So many other things are given. Anyways, we don't have sex with our cousins. Let me close this. Now, second. Yes, so I will show you something. I found this beautiful PPT, so I will speak from here only. It talks about the 18 types of women you cannot marry in Hinduism. Okay, so otherwise there are severe repercussions. So shall a man establish or enjoy a physical relation with women under no circumstances. A man is warned of having consensual or forceful physical relation with a virgin without marrying her. So virgin without marriage. So if you are having sex with somebody or live in relationship, that is sinful. A widow, you cannot marry a widow. A vow of celibacy. So somebody who has taken a vow of celibacy, who is a sadhavi, you cannot marry that person. Friend's wife, you cannot marry. See, even friend's wife you cannot marry because it's unethical. An enemy's wife also you should never marry. A pupil's, or like somebody who is your see, this is very interesting. Pupil's wife. Do you know that one of this Islamic guys, he was doing a research under professor, and the professor, he was in love with a girl, and they both married, and he was doing his PhD under this professor who was also Islamic, and he was old. The professor was old, and he suggested to this pupil that why don't you divorce her, and then I will do her halala, and then you can have her back. So the disciple, since he was doing PhD, he had to listen to his what do you call them, the guru, or so he divorced her, and the guru married her, and then he never left her. So the guru was quite old, and I shouldn't call him guru, the Maulana, or whatever Islamic scholar he was doing research under. He was so malicious that he never divorced that girl, and he took his loving wife, who was so young, only 22 years old, and he kept her. Until to date, this boy who took PhD under that professor, he repents, that he thinks, he laments that he should not have gone through that. Anyways, let's go back to this. So the pupil's wife you should never take. a woman from your own family, or a prostitute, or a woman who is not in her sense. Here again, I will tell you that in Islamic scriptures, it is given that a woman who is, in unconscious state, you can have sex with her. Older woman, a guru's wife, a mother-in-law, a maternal aunt, maternal uncle's wife, paternal uncle's wife, sister, including a cousin. See, even your cousin, the first blood cousin, is believed to be an unpardoned sin in the eyes of Shastras. So you don't do that. And a pregnant woman, a stranger. So these are the things. So coming back to this, that our slides. So my answer to Daniel Gogi is that no, never. He don't do that. And Arjun was a celestial child. He was not the biological son of either of these people, because it is unpardoned sin under Hindu Shastras. Now let us look at Christianity. All the questions have finished, my slides have finished, and even the questions from the audience have finished. Now let us see about Christianity. So basically, before we go into this, I want to tell you that DCCI Ministries have accused Hinduism of these kind of, first of all, they started with caste, Dasyus, Malechas, Aryavrata, Dayanand Saraswati, Niyog, and all kinds of, Shudra, killing of Shudras, and this marrying sister, and this is all bullshit. Now I will tell you, they are telling us about killing people and killing this, that, which I showed you is false. Let us look at Christianity. In the end of my presentation, I want to make DCCI Ministries, Hatun, Tash, Jay, Praveen, and Narendra about Christianity. Have you ever thought what Christianity has done? And I'm not talking about your scriptures. I'm not saying what is written in the books thousands of years ago or whatever. I'm talking about what Christians actually did. Because whatever Christ said, if that is the teaching all the Christians are following, then they must be very good people. But what Christ said, that if somebody offers you one cheek, slaps on one cheek, you offer them the other cheek. So have the Christians done that? Have they ever offered the other cheek? Let us discover this together. Let me share some of the things, not many, but just highlights. So first thing is what Christians did to other Christians. More than 300 former pupils came forward with allegations of physical and sexual abuse committed by members of Christian Brothers who operated the Mount Cashel orphanage in St. John's, Newfoundland. This was a very big case, and these children, these boys, they were abused, sexually abused repeatedly. And these people were in a convent. They were so afraid, these little children, to tell anybody of this sexual abuse. And now they have grown up and they all have come together, and they have in separate interviews, they have exactly said the same kind of things when these Christian brothers who were operating this orphanage in St. John's, Newfoundland. Over 300. Look at the number of victims. And for the whole life, they have been scarred. Once you do pedophilia on little children, their whole life is scarred. They are worse than dead people, because they are living, but they have been abused sexually. Now, I want to tell you another thing. Murder of Irene Garza. I want to tell you that here I told you in the beginning of the presentation that when it comes to idol worship, I will tell you something. That if you look at Swami Kriyanand of Ananda Sangha, you ask him about Hinduism, probably he'll tell you the best answers. And I quote his words, he says that Hinduism is not idol worship, but it is ideal worship. Now coming to idols. So we make idols because nobody has seen God. So you can either pray to him. It is difficult to pray to him like that. For simple people, they want to focus. For keeping focus, they want to keep some object as a focus. And what is the advantage of having an idol? Let me tell you one advantage. This woman, Irene Garza, she was a Spanish lady. She was very beautiful and she was very educated and she was very pious and very religious. She was a Catholic and she was very religious. She used to attend the church regularly. And you know, in Catholic churches, you have to confess every week. You are considered a good person if you go and confess your sins every week. So this lady used to constantly go to the church every week and do her confessions. And the priest that heard her confessions called her someplace and then he raped her and left her body in the gutter. After that, the priest, after some time, he uh, when her body was found, nobody said anything. She was missing. Then her body was found. Irene Garza, you can check her up in Google, on Google or any places. I've seen the big documentary of an hour-long documentary on her many years ago. She stuck to my mind because when I was watching her documentary, they said so many things like she was the best person one could even think about because she was not only beautiful and educated and she was very pious woman and she was really very much dedicated to God every day. So she believed in this. She said her internal secrets to this priest in her confession box, and her body was found in a gutter, and nobody knew what had been done. And later they came to know that the priest who raped her and left her for and tried to kill her, he went to this his seniors and he confessed. But the seniors, you know, Catholic churches are famous for not punishing the offender, but all they do is move them from one church to another. He was moved to a monastery. So now I'm saying that later on, after a lot of investigation, it was revealed that he had confessed, and then questions were raised why the senior, priest, he did not come and say. In Catholic churches, they have this habit of making the a bachelor, a person who has is a brahmachari, the priest of high caliber, and he gets promoted faster. So these people want to maintain their positions of high positions, but they also are tempted by sex. So what they do is they don't marry, but they try and take it out on little children. Just like this convent I was talking about, where 300 students were victimized. And this example of Irene Garza, why I'm telling you this is very important. Our secrets or confess. Why can't we confess to a stone idol? It is the safest means. We don't want to be, we don't want to be a victim like Irene Gaza. I'm not saying that every priest is like this, but there is risk. Why to take that risk? Why can't you have an idol and pray to the idol? Think of God and focus on an idol and tell, if you want to empty your heart out and say all the secrets to your stone idol God, why not go for it? This is good for psychological venting out too. Instead of venting to a live person who can take advantage of your situation and murder, rape you, or do whatnot, like Irene Gaza was met with. So continuing there, I told you that. So the story of Irene Gaza, murder of Irene Garza, tells us the importance of having these stone idols. It's better to confess to a stone idol than to confess to any priest or any man for that matter. Now, Christian Inquisition in India. So Hatun, Tash, and Jay and Praveen and Narendra Sahu tell me that if Christ told you to give your other cheek also, then why are these Christians having inquisition in India and forcibly converting? Actually, I'll tell you why. Because when in majority Christians do the same thing like it is in Islam. In fact, even worse. You know why it is worse? Because in Islam they cut your head, but in Christianity they will torture you first. The infamous Francis Xavier and Martin Alfonso were sent to Goa by King John III of Portugal in 1542 to initiate the process of converting Goan residents to Roman Catholicism. A disturbed Francis Xavier wrote to King John III of Portugal on 16th May 1546 to impose inquisition on Goa in an attempt to discipline the residents and make them follow Catholicism. So make them follow Catholicism, forcefully convert them into Christianity. And this has happened in India. I'm not talking about other countries. I'm talking about India, and I'm talking about 1542, and I'm talking about Christians, and I'm talking about forceful conversion. And I'm telling only very highlighted things. You can go and read upon the Christian Inquisition. I'm not talking about the Dark Ages. I'm not talking about witch burning. Those convicted of following another religion were subjected to heinous punishments. That means if you are following Hinduism, Jewish religion, you will be subjected to heinous punishments, including public flogging, being put on the rack, burnt on stakes, and having one's nails and eyes crushed by bloodthirsty missionaries. In some cases, entire villages were burnt with the women and children taken as slaves. Large wheels were used for torture, with those convicted of following Hinduism or Judaism being tied to the wheel and then spun, with almost every bone of the innocent Hindu or Jew being crushed. If you read about, there are so many graphical details about the Christian Inquisition. I'm not going into all that. I'm just giving you brief highlight and asking you, Hatun, Tash, and your DCCI ministries, tell me why this Christian Inquisition happened when you follow Christ, who says that offer your other cheek also. Then why are you coming and forcibly converting? I'm not talking about Hitler or Dark Ages. I'm talking about Indians, Hindus. Hindu children were sometimes taken away from their parents and burnt in front of them, with the parent being tied and forced to witness his child being burnt alive until he accepts to convert to Christianity. Over 4,000 non Christians were inflicted with such punishments during the course of the Inquisition. Yeah, in inspiration of the Muslim invaders, the missionaries imposed the Zendi tax on the Hindu population, similar to the Jiziya tax. Reference Saraswati's Children, A History of the Mangalorean Christians, Alan Manchado Prabhu, IJA Publications, 1999, page number 121. So the Christians also took a tax of following your own faith, then you have to pay Zendi tax. Tell me, DCCI ministries, have you heard about Hindus forcibly converting other people? In fact, Hindus are the largest pool from which of innocent, trusting individuals who are so simple that they make stone idols and they think and focus on God using idols. They are such simple people, non-violent people, and they are being converted by both Islamists and the Christians. This is the largest pool from which they are conversions are happening. Hindu temples were also destroyed. Exact data on the nature and number of Hindu temples destroyed by the Christian missionaries and Portuguese governments are unavailable. Some 160 temples were razed to the ground on the Goa island by 1566. Between 1566 and 67, a campaign by Franciscan missionaries destroyed another 300 Hindu temples in Bardes, northern Goa. In Salsit, South Goa, approximately another 300 Hindu temples were destroyed by the Christian officials of the Inquisition. Numerous Hindu temples were destroyed elsewhere at Asolna and Kankolim by Portuguese authorities. A 1569 royal letter in Portuguese archives records that all Hindu temples in its colonies in India had been burnt and razed to the ground. That is in the archives, in the Portuguese archives. They have themselves written. There is a book written by Ananta Priolkar, and he describes the account of a German doctor. Neeraj Atriji has also mentioned in his video about this German doctor. He was in an inquisition sent to Daman. So I will explain you this. I've just written as a hint here. Actually, this German doctor, he was visiting India, and at that time inquisition was happening, so he was also taken into custody and he was sent to Daman. Goa, Daman and Diu, these are three nearby neighboring cities. So he was taken to Daman and he was put in a building which was a two-storied building. And the first story, it was the even the size of the room is given, but I have not noted all that because it is too detailed. About 25 people were in that small room, and it was so filthy. And there was a bucket of poop, like anybody who wanted to poo or pee, they would do in that bucket. And they had this the smell was coming. It is an open bucket. The top story was of female prisoners, and they were pooing through. There was a hole in the ceiling and they were pooing directly down, and the smell and the stench was so great. But this German doctor was not afraid of that stench. He was caught in there. He was kept in that room. He was afraid of the Inquisition. He writes in his diary, which was later found, that I am so much afraid of the what is going to happen tomorrow. Then the stench which is coming from this poop, which is following from the first story, from the top story. So that's what it is written. So you can imagine how much afraid or scared he will be. So doctor is afraid of the Inquisition more than the smell of the poop. Now, Neeraj Atri has also, conducted a small exhibition in which he got these devices made to show to the children over there, but later it had to be stopped due to some circumstances arising. But the torture devices are kept in the museums. The Christian Inquisition used these devices, and I want DCCI Ministries, Hatun, Tash, Narendra Sahu, Jay, and Praveen, please look at these torture devices and tell me if these people are Christians, they follow Jesus, and after following Jesus, all of them are so vicious and violent and they are sadistic. This is a thumb rack. This is these I have snipped from Neeraj Atri's YouTube video. So these are because these are actual pictures from the museum. So the fastest way to get that was Neeraj Atriji had already done the effort, so I just took from him. So these are this is a thumb rack to squeeze the thumb. Thumb is placed and it is squeezed there. Its graphical description is used here. This is how the inquiry was conducted. This is a Spanish boot, means your feet are put there and crushed. And these are projections that this is an actual placement in the museum. These are actual pictures. This is a wheel to crush on your head, and the spokes will go inside your head. This is a pear thing. It is your private parts to crush your balls. So this one was used inside the female private parts. You can see these things going inside your vagina. Penitent's girdle. This was used on your private parts again. Breast ripper, the name itself tells you what it does. It rips your breast out of your body. Breast ripper and testicle crusher. Genital slaughter is again used for, it is to tie a woman or a man, like to tie a person in this manner that you see in the picture on the right, and it is such folded your arms and hands and lying there for unlimited amount of time till you become actually what you call handicapped. This is another version of genital slaughter. This is heated. This is a mask, and it was heated and placed on the pagans, and the tongue, and in the back there is a projection which crushes the tongue, so that you'll never be able to speak. And this mask was heated and placed on the face, and then they were taken for a parade. You can see in the picture, this is how it went. This is another mask. Hello. These were used on Shaivite Hindus. You see, these Shaivite Hindus had these hair in that fashion. They were used on Shaivite Hindus. This is another form of genital slaughter. This is another form. See, the man will be placed like this, and they'll be crushed like that. This is a witch catcher. So you are placed in this round thing, and this spring thing prevents you from getting out of it. This is a prayer cross. This wheel is used to crush you. You are placed in there, and your body, the wheel goes inside your body and it crushes it. Garrote to crush the neck. Skull crusher. Different type of skull crusher. Another type of skull crusher. Fire torture. So fire torture was this looks simple, but it is not simple. It is a heated place in which you were kept, and fire was burnt. And like here, you see over here in this picture, the leg of the man is tied on the top, his head is down, the legs are up. In this picture, like in the picture it is shown, and then there is fire burning from below. Fire torture usage, this is the artist creation. The museum pieces I showed you. This is his legs are in this hole, and he is lying upside down, and then his the feet, the sole of his feet are lit from the back. The sole of his feet are also, and the fire is burned from down also. This is disembobbiler plank, to remove the ribs. They will crush your ribs and take, actually no, not crush the ribs. When you put there and then you turn this, one ring of your rib will come out, and it will roll up in a spiral form. So all your ribs one by one will come out and roll them up. This is also a ripper. You can see from the diagram, we don't have to explain that. It's cutting from the, hanging a person upside down and cutting from the middle like that. This is a ripper. This is called Judas cradle or vigil. It is like a conical thing, and the person was placed to sit on this like this. So I want to ask you, Hatun, Tash, and Jay, and Narendra Sahu, and Praveen. Tell me, you are the follower of Jesus Christ who has said that give your other cheek also, then you are committing all these Christians. I'm not talking about Dark Ages or Hitler burning so many Jews. I'm talking about these Christians coming to India and forcibly converting Hindus, and they are punishing people, and Inquisition holding them, asking questions, converting them forcefully, so, and torturing them. So you are not less than Islamist when it comes to violence. I would say that yes, Akbar, he skinned people alive. He cut the heads of people and made monuments out of them. But you have not left any stone unturned when it comes to violence. You have tortured people. You have tortured innocent Hindus. About like 4,000 Hindus were tortured like that. So I will say in the end, I have come to the end. I will tell you about Hinduism, what Hinduism says. There is a shlok which says, Ayam nijaha paro veti gadana lagu chetasam udar charita nama tu vasudhaiva kutumbakam. It means this is mine, that is his, say the small minded. The wise believe that the entire world is a family. This is what Vivekananda said in Chicago conference, and everybody stood up to the young monk. So the whole world is a family. This is what the Hindus believe. Islam thinks that these are believers. The Islamists, the Muslims are their believers and do everything good to the Muslim. One Muslim doing to other Muslim, but all the non-believers should be killed, either converted or they should be killed. Christians believe the same thing. Actually, I left Christianity when I read Islam because Islam people are foolish. They actually copied it from Christianity only. When I read the Bible, I was just reading it for the sake of reading and saying that yes, I have read the Bible. So I missed all these things. If you go back and read it, there in Old Testament, there are so many things on slavery, on apostasy, and there again those who believe in Christ, no matter how unrighteous they are, they will go to heaven. But all the virtuous people, let me say it this way, all the virtuous non-Christians will go to hell. So that is what is written in this shloka, that this is a small-minded mentality. When you say this is mine and that is there, when God is one and he has created everybody, all the creation are his children, then why would you put somebody in hell? You will think the entire world is a family. You won't say that a Christian should behave nicely with another Christian and have these torturous devices for Hindus. Another important quote I will tell you: Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukbhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May all sentient beings be at peace. May no one suffer from illness. May all see what is auspicious. May no one suffer. Om, peace, peace, peace. So Om is the sound which is reverberating in the cosmos. May all sentient beings be at peace. So everybody be at peace. It's not saying only Hindus be at peace, only Sanatan Dharmis be at peace. Everybody, the whole world is a family, everybody be at peace. No one should suffer from illness. It says no one, doesn't say Sanatan Dharmis. It doesn't bifurcate between Christians, non-Christians. It doesn't say Sanatan Dharmi and non-Sanatan Dharmi. It talks about everyone. No one should suffer from illness. May all see what is auspicious. May no one suffer. Peace to everybody. I would say that it is not Christianity which is a religion of love, and And I would say it is not Islam which is a religion of peace, but Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma is the religion of peace and love and light. Thank you. This concludes my presentation given as a reply to Hatun, Tash, Jay, Praveen, and Narendra at DCCI Ministries. And if you have any queries, you are welcome to contact me, and my email address is given on the screen, which you can take a snapshot. Please, everybody, like and share the video as much as possible, so that if people have similar queries or questions or doubts in their mind, they can listen to both parts of these two videos that I have created yesterday and today and solve their queries. And any more queries, you are welcome to contact me at my email address, and I would answer all your queries. If you have too many queries, I can set up a stream, and we can talk on live channel, and we can discuss. I appreciate everybody for listening to me and going through all these slides. And thank you, DCCI Ministries, because you gave me an opportunity to solve all these queries that people have in their mind, the doubts in Hinduism, and to remove the fog in their mind and to correct some of the malicious things that people have done. I assure you that Hinduism has the best of ideals that I have ever found. And not only it is ideals that are written in scriptures, just like in Christianity, but they are not being followed. Hinduism, all the scriptures are being followed, even though people don't go to the temples, but yet by nature they are all innocent. The Hindus are mostly innocent and non-violent. They even are vegetarian, most of them. So they don't, you will find that Hindus are mostly trusting people, very innocent, trusting people. And that is why I discovered this later in my life, too late, that I was seeing a whole community of people who are so trusting, innocent, childlike, and they are being abused either violently or by tempting them with some rice bags or things like that. And no, we follow dharma in our, see, we are manasa vacha karmana, means by thought, by deeds, and by our word, we are the same. So it is not even important to write in the scriptures, it's more important to follow what is written. And unfortunately, if you claim that Christianity is so great, but I don't find that in people who are following Christianity. You may make a lame excuse that, oh, these people are not Christians. It's same as if you find terrorists and they follow Islam, and then people say, oh, this ISIS is, they are not terrorists, they are not Muslims. But where did all so many people in so much quantity get all this viciousness from? Where is it coming from? Why do people want to convert people to Christianity forcefully? So, in the end, I would say when Christians are in power, they are malicious as the Islamists. When not in power, they are nice. So, I would say let us go for humanity, and let us not corrupt other people's scriptures, whatever they're writing. Let live and let live peacefully. Jai Ma Saraswati. If anybody wants to talk to me in the back, I can give them a invite, and we can talk in the back if anybody wants to talk to me in the back. Otherwise, Jai Hindu Rashtra. May God bless you all, give you good intelligence to make good choices in life. Thank you.